The following content are the expressed thoughts, views, ideas, and opinions of the individuals and guests of the Nerds Have Spoken podcast. This podcast may contain adult language and themes not suitable for children under the age of 17. Viewer and listener discretion is advised. Please stand by while we wait for the cast of the Nerds Have Spoken. Thank you for joining us and enjoy the show.
Hey, what's up, y'all? This is Jason Lowery on the Nerds Have Spoken. I'm here with my partners in crime and friends. I got Santa von Wolfenstein. I got Eric B. Matt. I got HarikenBX, Kalum, and Randy of Nerdout. How you guys doing?
So far, so good.
What's up?
So good.
Yeah. How was your guys' week? Let's start with Randy. How was your week, dude?
Long. It's still going. Yeah, it's the holiday season, so I guess it's in full effect.
Yep.
Nice.
Busy man.
You get any good stuff in at the store?
I did, and a lot more. That could be an hour-long conversation.
Like his own Santa Claus, or whatever. So. Oh man.
Yeah, he got tons of stuff up there. We were just up there the other day, and a lot of new Macross, some Soulless Joking stuff. High-end stuff. You got some figure art Star Wars. Right now's the time, man. Right now's the time. I'm sure we'll get into that a little later.
All right, let's go. Eric, who you want to go next? All right, let's go to Jose.
All right,
let's go to Jose.
What's up? What's up, everybody? Thanks for having me. Really appreciate it. I think this is my first time.
Yeah, man.
Right. Yeah, baby.
Randy. You're Randy. And Kalum. Yeah, man.
Breaking my cherry here tonight, guys. Thanks for having me, guys. I really appreciate it. Like Randy said, been a long week for me too. So was really looking forward to some downtime, during this holiday season. Usually, like we were saying on the off camera, I usually take vacation around this time. I didn't take the full vacation, but I am still going to be able to get a 3-day weekend coming up for Christmas. So
nice.
Very happy about that.
Yeah, man.
So
that's what's
nice.
up. Yeah. That's what's up. Matt, what about you, big fella?
Not much. It was a busy week plowing this week. We got over a foot of snow. I was out. I think I went out Wednesday at 1 a.m. I got home at Thursday around 4:35. So
my God,
That's not right.
it was a long day. It wasn't bad, but yeah, not too bad. Just muddling through the Christmas season, just like everybody else. Making moves.
Yeah, man.
Doing things. But thanks for having me back on again, guys. I'm looking forward to the lively discussion that I'm sure will follow.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
Definitely we'll get that one.
Absolutely. Kalum, what's up, buddy?
What's up, guys? How you guys doing?
Good, man.
Welcome to the show.
Yeah, welcome.
Yeah, thanks for having me.
me.
Yeah,
Another virgin. There you go.
I get to bring all my Filoni and spread the
Must
gospel.
be interested.
So, buckle up.
Can't wait for
Luckily, I have a unique name, so it's easy to send me 8 mail. So, yeah, we'll see how this one rolls.
Fair enough.
Can't wait.
Wolf, how was your week, man?
It was good. It was long, but it's over. I'm on vacation now for the rest of the year.
Shout out vacations.
So don't
I
bother
like
me.
him real quick. Let's highlight Wolf real quick, Jason. We're on Kalum still.
Yeah, no, for
There
sure.
we go.
No one wants to see this.
I want to see that shirt. Aren't
We'll
you
get
sure
to
everybody
that.
what that
Oh,
shirt looks like?
We'll get to
What's
that.
your shirt say there? It kind of matches your hat.
Well, and I'm sure we'll get into this more in a minute. We had Secret Santa last night.
Yep.
And one of the hosts of the show, who will remain nameless, is a douchebag. And he sent me this shirt. Eric B, what does it say for our audio listeners?
All I want for Christmas is Channing Tatum.
Yeah. So, thanks a lot. I really appreciate it.
A call back to our Thanksgiving episode special.
Oh, yeah.
Good
Got
stuff,
him good.
man. Yeah. All right, Lowery, how about you, man? How was your week?
Not too bad. Did the Secret Santa last night and then kind of hung out. worked all week and everything, and then now basically chilling with you boys, trying to bring in the holiday coming up and everything else. Ready for that vacation time, man. So, how about you, Eric?
Buddy. I had a pretty good week, man. Well, one day was a little spotty. Almost wanted to choke somebody, but such is life, right? Dealing with customers. But other than that, man, it was a pretty good week. We had a little scare last night while we were on the call. My youngest daughter ear was bleeding. My wife was cleaning her ear.
No.
She moved.
Oh, okay. Didn't know
And
that.
it scratched the canal. So they went to the hospital last night, but all was well. No damage to the eardrum at all. So she's good. And she's running around here all day today playing. So she's fine, apparently. She's good.
Nice.
Yep.
She's
But
all
other
right.
than that, man. Yeah, man, she's good. She's good. Thanks. But pretty good week. Hung out with the guys last night. Well, the crew. It was many people in there. Play trivia. That was pretty fun. Secret Santa stuff was fun. It's always good to see people get their gifts and open them up, man. It brings a special joy to you, just to watch people enjoy the stuff that they got. So it's always good, especially when you got a group of people who appreciate the things in life. You know what I mean? Like just appreciate them. They're not stuck on, oh, well, you didn't get me this and this and that. Like that's pretty cool to see, But that's it for me. That's it for me. Let's get into some hauls. Let's go to reverse way. Let's go to Wolf.
Well, first,
What's up?
Wolf.
Yeah.
Oh, right. keep missing my cue.
Dude, that's all right. We fucked up anyway.
Oh, could someone on this panel please inform me of what time it is?
Oh, Jesus. Well, it's time to nerd up. Shut up, I guess. We forgot to tell you guys we do this during that when we turn around and do that at the show, so it's pretty funny.
It's that time. Time to nerd up and shut up.
All right, so hauls for the week. Why don't we go ahead and start on one of our guests? Let's go ahead. Start with Randy here.
Randy, you got any pickups? You're on mute.
You're on mute.
You're on mute.
Still on mute.
You're muted.
You're
buddy.
on mute. We can't hear you.
Oh, sorry about that. Yeah,
Okay,
no.
good.
I did get a lot. Do I show and tell or just
yeah.
tell?
Sure, you can do either or, whatever you want to do.
All right, I did. I did get
Ooh, nice.
this Tigertron. Yeah, I know all you Beast Wars haters. I got this little blue streak or silver streak. I like it actually. It's the Walgreens one.
Oh,
It's
yeah.
old news, but I just found it.
Nice.
I guess I got a lot of Transformers, which I haven't really bought a lot lately. But little.
Oh, I love that sound.
I like this guy. Yeah, it's pretty cool. This is awesome.
Yes.
I mean, whoever thought they'd make a Weird Science Chet figure?
Oh, okay. That's
Who
fine.
made that?
Super 7 reaction. I love
Oh,
it.
I'm gonna have to get it.
Yeah, it's fantastic.
Nice.
I only got here. I'll speed it up. This is probably my favorite thing. I really didn't expect to like this, but I'm gonna pull it out. Hold on. That Super 7 bat.
Oh,
I don't know.
This
This
nice.
huge.
Yeah, this thing is really big. It's a cool it's probably not for every G.I. Joe fan, but it's super. I think it's classy. I think it looks like something you could put in your living room. It's really ornate. I like it. And then I got some. Oh, here. I got the Regal.
Oh,
Yeah. I haven't
Mine
even
is on
opened
the
it
way.
yet.
I've been seeing this drop of pictures of people posting those. all
Yeah,
over.
actually, I might open it while I'm listening to you guys chat. If that's cool.
Yeah, man.
Yeah, good.
Yeah. That probably covers me. I'm probably surrounded by a ton more stuff, but you guys should share as well.
Cool beans.
Get into it.
Let's go right to Matt since he's down there. Matt, what you get?
I didn't get anything this week. It's pretty, I kind of really limited myself. I did some pre-ordering, but nothing's coming in anytime soon. I try to take a little bit easy around the holidays, just, for everybody else versus my nonsense.
You got any custom stuff you've been working on?
The custom game, I'm kind of like in a dry spot. Like I'm just kind of. I haven't been real interested in hobbying lately, so I'm just kind of like putting that aside. Like I don't want to force it. I got some ideas in mind that should be pretty good. But like I said, the holidays I don't buy stuff for myself. Like I hard fast. Other than some comics, I didn't get any comics this week, but that's like the only thing I'll purchase for myself. All that money goes to everybody else. So
Fair enough.
Nice. That's
Fair
how we
enough,
do
buddy.
it.
Wow, that makes me feel real selfish about myself right now. Matt the Saint here, and I'm buying things for myself, not giving a crap. That's great.
That's like, I'll take some of that stuff.
yeah, as long I'm not a fan of the Super 7. I hate Super 7. I'm just throwing
Yeah,
it
that's
out
a
there.
different conversation.
Yep.
Matt, with your
Yeah.
comic books, do you do single issues or do you go for trades when you hit the
I do singles because I feel like the comic book industry is kind of at its ass end, to be honest with you. The way they do stuff now with the monthlies, like I think the monthlies are going to go away, and I think that's going to cause comic book shops to eventually close because they're not really going to have any product.
They make a
especially
whole heck of a lot of money off of comics in the first place. Comic book shops.
I think they can do all right if they have the right, old stuff, new stuff, online presence, and then a lot of the comic shops around me will sell like, Kotobukiya stuff or
see, that's what I was thinking is like their money maker. That's where the revenue probably comes
typically comics like the new stuff, it brings in the customers, and then hopefully they spend the money on the vintage stuff that usually that's from my experience. So, but I mean, you need to bring in those customers every Wednesday, so you need the comics.
Yeah, it's a tough business, and where you can get comics from Amazon, and you can get trades, and the trades are arguably better than the singles. They take up less space. The paper quality. I think the comic book industry, as we know it today, tops has 10 years left, if that. Probably closer to 5.
I'd say 5, if anything.
I think we're going to see the major comic book companies just doing like every 6 months you'll get a Wolverine trade paperback that's like 200 pages or whatever.
That's probably going to be a good show discussion one day. We need to make sure we
have to
that
get
down.
that in there.
Yeah, you gotta put a pin in that. I did hear something about supposedly like one of the major publishers paring down their titles to something like 8 to 10 to 12 per month, which is like nothing, when they're putting out 70 a month. So that's crazy.
DC's been like dropping their titles left and right.
Yeah, big time. And pretty much the sad thing with DC that if it's not Batman, it doesn't sell. Yeah, which is kind of a shame.
I mean that would be more so, and I think we kind of getting into a different discussion, which is good. But I think that's probably the fault of DC, though, right? Like and the writers that they select, like if you don't pick quality writers and they give you a good story, I mean, people gonna gravitate to what they know, right?
I think DC's pulling out of the small comic market. I think they're trying to just distribute on a larger level to Walmart. So they've actually dropped distributing through Diamond, and I think their ultimate goal is just to have a presence in Walmart and Target and things like that. It's probably more financially viable, but it will ultimately kill a small comic book shop.
Yeah.
Well, Diamond is also full of scum fucks too.
Well, I mean, I'm sure there's good and bad in every aspect of it.
No, but they have a pretty they have a chokehold on the comic. Like, if you don't go through Diamond, you can't get half of your books. And
definitely monopoly. For sure.
They're fucking fuck them. Fuck Diamond.
So you hate Diamond, you hate comic shops, you hate Super 7.
I love comic shops, but I do hate Super 7.
I do want to hear your thoughts on Super 7, but I don't know. Is that going in a different direction than you guys want to go?
We can go into it in a little bit.
We got time.
Number one, the articulation is fucking shit. It's not 1980 anymore. The fucking goofy ass fucking He-Man, the sculpts are garbage for the most part.
Wait. So you're not talking Super 7. You're talking about the Reaction brand. Is that correct?
He's talking like the
like everything. You're talking like
Motu and all that other
he hasn't even got to Reaction yet. So
okay.
This is Reaction.
I'll let you go.
Yeah,
Like
I
Ninja
just
Turtles and all that stuff, right?
Okay.
yeah,
We haven't heard his reaction to reaction.
He's getting warmed up.
the fucking the articulation is trash. The fucking plastic they use is trash. The paint apps 90% are fucking garbage. I mean, didn't you get a fucking cross-eyed lion-o, Eric?
No, he didn't buy one, but I know somebody who did get one.
Yeah, like and
Anthony had one.
I saw a picture of somebody had like looked like coffee grounds in his goatee
Yeah.
area. Mine was fine. So
I've seen
Yeah.
some videos.
Super 7 has definitely had some challenges, but you got to give them credit. What they do is nothing else, no other company does, and that's they take risks and they explore brands that other companies are not doing. So whereas I still consider them a new company, and there are things that are undefensible on some of the quality issues, but overall, like, where else are you going to get a Chet action figure? I mean, the fact that they're going after these wonderful, like, really
yeah,
obscure
I mean, and that's cool, but it's right. That Chet action figure is right up their fucking alley because it's like 3 points of
I love it.
articulation
Yeah.
and done. Like
And I
if you want an art, yeah, and then you win. You know, and that's awesome. But if you want something that's articulated, that you can pose, and that doesn't look like, in my opinion, just fucking lame for the most part. Like,
did you get an opportunity to check out those Ninja Turtles Ultimates?
oh, they look like shit. They look like shit. They look fucking trash.
I'm going to
They're
disagree.
The Baxter looks good. I would have to say, like, I messed with the Raphael.
Great.
Anthony had it. It's just okay. Like, I mean, I guess now that I'm more of a mature collector and I have certain likes,
But what does that mean?
more. So you start to figure out what you like and what you don't like as you collect more. And for me, I don't like stuff that doesn't have a toe tilt. Like, as a figure, I need stuff with a toe tilt and an ab crunch. And Super 7 by now should be giving you a ab crunch and a toe tilt. So for me, their stuff doesn't work, which is why I don't buy them.
And the great thing about Ninja Turtles is that there's so many other companies making Ninja Turtles.
Right.
That's true.
Buy or
That's
not.
true.
yeah,
I
very
personally like their aesthetic, but I mean, you know, I mean,
They're
I
kind
don't
of
know.
like hipster NECA, kind of. They're kind of like, you know, they're along those lines. Because I mean, like, to me, like, Super 7 is very similar to NECA in like articulation, sculpt, and paint, right? But it's like, you know, they're got that we're artisans, we're crafting.
I think
these
they're punk
toys.
rock.
And I'm kind of like, nah, you guys are NECA. Like, it's just, you know, you just charge double. So they're not bad, but they're not the bee's knees.
Yeah, I don't think they're terrible, but I mean, they're just not for me. You know, I mean, and I'm actually tempted to see, since they just got that what's that, the Silverhawks we talked about on the show. They got the Silverhawks. I'm tempted to see how they do that. No one's doing those, so I might have to go in on them, but I shouldn't have to be held hostage because no one else is doing them. And I shouldn't have to sell either. You know what I mean? So I may and may not, but like for me, there's certain parts in an action figure that I feel like are a must-have nowadays. Heck, if McFarlane can give you a toe tilt and an ab crunch and a figure and it's $20, then
exactly.
Super 7 needs to do better.
You're kind of comparing apples and oranges because McFarlane Toys is a major company who's been at it for 25 years now. Super 7, they're still like a little 10-year-old startup. I mean, I'm not.
But let's be fair. Super 7. I mean, McFarlane. Yes, he's been around for a while, but he's gotten better over the years. He used to have stuff where it was only 5 points of articulation. He figured out. This is probably the one time he probably listened to fans because now he just don't care because I'm giving you more plastic. But
I think
you know what I mean. Like,
they give you a toe tilt, but they can't put their feet or legs straight. They have to go off the side.
I
some
think
things have a double elbow, some things don't. Like,
what's that, Randy?
I think they've created like a specific, like different brands. Like Reaction, obviously, you're getting something specific for Reaction. For like this, wherever this cyborg robo, you're getting like a specific look. And I think the Ultimates, you're getting a specific look, and you either dig it or you don't.
Yeah.
And that is all personal.
No, absolutely.
I do agree with you with paint apps and certain things like that. That there definitely is some room for improvements, no doubt.
I give them credit for creating a niche that are creating toys for a niche market. I think they're not for everybody, and they know what they do well, and they know what their fans like, and more power to them. It works out for them.
I hear you. I think that makes sense.
But at the end of the day, some people like chocolate, some people like vanilla. But if you like vanilla, there's something seriously wrong with you.
I'm a chocolate man myself, you know.
Yeah.
I see where BZ's coming from though, because like when it comes to like the reaction line and stuff, that those old school style of figures, like I get the nostalgia, but it's not for me as far as like the figures that I like to collect nowadays, you know. So you know, so there's something for everybody, I guess.
Yeah, and I mean, at the end of the day, if you like it, you do win, and that's fine. I just see these Super 7 fanboys, and I'm like, oh, this blows Marvel Legends away. It's like, maybe. Okay, cool. Like, but look at the fucking paint app. Like, my man's got a fucking glass eye over there, you know?
Hey, it is rolling.
I agree. I think that they have a lot of quality issues and stuff, but I like them as a company because I think they're punk rock, and I like where they're going. I think there's room for improvement, no doubt. But I like the fact that they don't seem to follow the rules. They're like, we're gonna make it because we fucking like it. That's it.
Now, didn't they switch factories for like the Thundercats or something like that recently?
Yeah, they got screwed. I guess they were stuck at the Mattel factory.
Okay, fair enough.
So that's what happened with the Jackalman, stuff like that, where it was like the same stuff and they had the same issues from previous. So.
Those issues were unacceptable in my opinion. Like,
Jason, did you have one of your capes missing for your?
No. So what happened was when they showed all the two capes that come with it, which one was the fabric and the other one was the other cape. Well, they showed the cape in all the pictures as it being open, not covering half the front figure, and you can't move the one arm of it because the plastic one that comes with it's like that. And like I was just like, wait a minute, what's supposed to come with another cape? Like I was like, whatever. Fair enough. I just put the wire cape on it. So
the only
go ahead.
Sorry, I was gonna say they got a Super 7 store here in San Diego. So like I went to it before everything before we all locked down.
All the craziness.
Yeah. I mean, I did steal a few things afterwards, but it's fine. Do during the
Was it
zombie
an open cape for Mumra?
I'll hook you up later, dude. Okay.
Fair enough.
But like I went in there looking for some of the He-Man figures, right? And you know, my problem with them really, it's not like I have a problem with buying stuff, right? But it's like for whatever reason, their pricing is just a little bit too big for their britches.
I agree with you.
If you go to the store, like a He-Man figure that was $50 on BBS, it was $30 in the store. And I'm like, that's all right. That's okay, right? Like within that ballpark, I'm like, okay, I can forgive it a little. But like obviously with everything going on, like you got to get it. Like I think my problem with them is I like the Toon aesthetic. I like some of the stuff doing. It's not a $50 figure for me. It's about that $30 price point that they sell it in the store. And that's where I'm kind of like, I would be like into it if I could get it at that price that they sell at the brick and mortar.
I think their products are like 15% like too high. Like instead of like their reaction figures are $18, they should be about 13, and their ultimates are 45, they should be 35, 38. I agree with you on that.
Well, it's even like I think recently I was at a GameStop, right, and they had the Transformer ones, but they were like $80 a shot, and I'm like, what? No, it's kind of similar to that.
Oh yeah, those are $80.
And I was kind of like, no, I'm good, because it's kind of a jumbo reaction
figure for that.
It's very boutique. It's boutique products. It's boutique prices.
Yeah. But I was just at the same time, I'm like, I'm good. Obviously, I have no problem spending money on this crap. But when I finally like draw a line, I'm like, okay, that's cool. But,
so you're not into artsy stuff then?
Not anymore, I guess.
Not at $80.
Well, speaking into stuff, Kayla, why don't you tell us what you got for the week?
Oh yeah, we're doing hauls.
That was a good side step.
That was my wife listening because I can't really disclose everything. This week, so I was on a bit of a break, but apparently everything decided to come this week and got me in trouble. So I got the Sideshow PCS Baroness quarter scale statue.
Nice.
That was it's actually right behind me. It's this giant ass box. I don't know what I'm gonna do with it, but then like I got Death Troopers this week for Hot Toys. I got Cody from Hot Toys. Like,
Good God.
I've got like BBTS. I got like 3 boxes from them because I finally shipped everything. It's ridiculous, and I feel like an asshole because Matt's like, "Oh, I buy for everybody else." I'm like, "Sorry, kid." Like I'm barricaded in my garage. I'm like, nobody touches Daddy's toys. Santa came early, but yeah, it's there was an ice spell, and now there's a flood. So yeah.
Oh shit.
But I'll be that PCS statue. Interesting story behind that. Apparently, the hot librarian fetish that I had shouldn't have been worth that much money, but here we are, and I have a
Back then or now?
here I have a Baroness statue that I have to explain to my wife about. But anyway.
Fair enough.
I thought you'd do that before the purchase.
It's easier to ask for forgiveness than permission.
Yeah, it's the usual. I pre-ordered that a year ago. That's weird. It showed up today.
I did it before the pandemic. Sorry, I did.
Yeah,
we talked about that.
coronavirus delayed the shipping. But luckily, she's very forgiving about that. So.
No doubt.
Nice.
Jose, what you got?
Yeah, the Kalum, that's gonna be me when Unicron finally ships and shit.
Oh no!
I don't know how I'm gonna explain that one. As usual, got some Transformers this week. Actually got one today. Surprise Sunday delivery.
Nice.
Got the Generation Select version of Fast Track, which is I guess supposed to be the spear for like Black Zarek, if that's gonna come out or repaint as
Okay.
Scorponok.
Nice.
So I didn't get the chance to open them yet. He's still sealed, but I got the Fast Track, and it's a cool little figure. It's one of those weaponizer things that break apart and you armor up the other guys with. And then I got that Top Spin and Corden, I think the names are, which are the Diaclone side swipes. The red the red and the white one. So I also got that one, and so that's pretty cool. That was it though. Nice, small, easy haul for me.
Nice. All right.
Sweet.
See who we on to next.
Let's go to Wolf.
All right. Well, yeah. Unlike Matt, I'm a selfish prick and got myself some stuff. So,
Welcome to the club.
so we had our Secret Santa last night, and my Santa was Amber Mayfield, right? That's her last name.
Magic.
Magic.
Mika. I'm sorry, Mika.
I apologize. I don't. But she got me a gung ho.
Nice.
Joe.
She got you a hoe, huh?
Got me. And then I got this giant box.
Woo! Oh shit!
Nice.
Yeah, I got the Children of
For
Thanos.
our audio listeners, tell them what you got.
Got the Amazon exclusive Children of Thanos.
Nice.
Looking real nice.
With the snap arm, right?
Yeah, got the snapping arm and the burnt face and
That's cool.
all that good stuff.
I love how they slightly retooled them, a couple of them here and there.
Yeah, they did. I think the one I can't remember all their names. Got new armor. Looks really good. I'm very excited about that one. And of course, we'll close out with some G1 robots. We got some a Joyride.
Nice.
G1 Joyride. A little Power Master action.
How's the chrome on the back of that? It looked like it's pretty decent.
Yeah, it looks pretty good.
Yeah.
Pretty shiny.
Are you spending a lot of money on those, Wolfenstein?
God, no, of course not.
Santa made a donation to his wallet.
Yeah. We got a quick switch.
Okay.
Yo, I had that thing back in the day, no weapons, all broken up. I had no clue what it was until, somewhat recently. And I was like,
Yeah.
oh, okay, that's what that is.
Now, Eric, be honest. He's a fucking pile of dirt, isn't he?
This?
Yeah. He's derpy as fuck.
I mean, look, it's a G1 figure. Yeah, he looks stupid.
I know.
He looks dumb.
No, okay. He just looks wicked derp. Like, he's just super derpy. Like, pew, pew, I'm going to get you.
I can see that.
I mean, I was happy with it. But...
No, it's cool.
I
He's
was
going to run
happy
around
with
the
my
house and
purchase.
He's gonna run around the house going pew pew. I'm gonna get you.
Yeah, pew pew. I'm a dirtbag. Pew pew.
Wait, that thing still transforms into like 6 different things, though, right?
Yeah, that's not derpy at all.
Yeah, see,
That's,
there you go.
that's cool.
Nice.
And the last thing I got was a G1 Headmaster.
Without
Where's
the head.
the head?
Yeah, and I'm sure you're going to ask, hey, Wolf, where's the head on this particular piece? Well, funny story. It came with one, but the guy neglected to mention that the arm on the Headmaster was stuck. So I gave it a little pull just to see what was going on with it, and it cracked off completely. And I found out it was glued on. You could see the glue residue, and he forgot that he didn't know that, and he was about telling me, "Sorry, pal, sorry about your luck," but he gave me a little bit of a refund. I got another head coming, so we'll be complete in about a week.
Oh, that's cool.
Yeah.
Good stuff.
So
Always be excited to get some head.
That's like for a discount.
yeah, you're.
It's holiday time.
That's
That
right.
it for you, Wolf?
That's it for me.
Nice.
All right. Let's go over to Lowery. Lowery, what you got?
I didn't get anything really.
I hear anybody,
This week it's pretty light. For the first time in quite a while. So ZD Toys, remember the Iron Man figures that they're doing and the Hall of Armor. So I got my 7th Hall of Armor from them. And then this thing is pretty badass. I got from ZD Toys, the Mark IV.
Nice.
This thing, it looks pretty damn good looking. It's a nice box. It's actually officially licensed. A lot of people don't know that it's officially licensed by Disney
No,
Huh.
and from overseas. And essentially, it's a cross between like the Hot Toys and Figure Arts, but scaled in 7-inch.
Any
I like the compact packaging, and that does look nice. Yes.
Yeah.
Look at that.
Oh, I can see what you
Yeah,
mean.
actually,
Looking like
yeah.
a
I mean, it looks. I mean, it's got the same joints, like everything. I mean, it's got everything that's like the Figure Arts. Now, Eric B won't like it that it didn't have toe tilt, but I think here's the thing, though. This thing shipped was $40 from overseas,
Oh, that's worth it.
Oh, that's crazy.
Well worth it.
and then it also comes with here. Comes with the stand, comes with hands, and all the blast effects too.
For $40?
$40.
Yep.
And this nice packaging,
not
and
bad.
everything too.
That's wild.
And then the Hall of Armors, they're basically scaled down versions of the Hot Toys, and they're $38 shipped. They
that's
light up LEDs, like everything. So
Holy
So
shit.
cheaper than a
Yeah.
Figure Arts figure, even with the Hall of Armor.
yeah, like this here. I'll open this up so you can see it. So
I was about to say, yeah, that's cheaper than Figure Arts. How's the quality? Is the quality above, below, just as good?
it's above Figure Arts. The only thing is that the reason why it's $40 is because, like, say, like the neck, it doesn't have to tilt side to side. Really, it's more like on a ball joint. You know what I mean? But
Yeah.
to give you an idea,
Oh, yeah. But if
and
you're just
then it's
posting-
actually got a USB charge in the back of it automatically.
That's lit.
Yeah, and then it's got the power button, turn it on, turn it off. So it's pretty nice.
Nice.
That was literally the only thing I got for this week because, holidays coming on and all that. So.
Yeah. Your Secret Santa stuff is still in the mail, right?
Yeah, like that and half my nieces and nephews' Christmas gifts.
Good luck with that.
All stuck in
I
the
heard
mail, yeah.
I heard a lot of people were having issues with their tracking not updating, and it was basically just saying shipped, and then all of a sudden arriving and up in
Well,
the
Yeah.
Yeah.
Jose, you're familiar with Richmond, right? And how far it is from me. I'm 2 hours away. I had a package go from Richmond to Maryland to DC to Pennsylvania and back. I'm only 2 hours away, and it took like 2.5, 3 weeks to get to me.
That was on a shelf somewhere, Brian, like underneath the fucking driver's seat. You know what I mean? And the dude's just like, the truck's just making its run, but your shit's just like, hey man, I'm almost there.
Yeah. What about you, Eric B? What'd you get?
I got 2 things this week. I did get the amazing Yamaguchi cable. This thing came out really, really good. The 2 guns in the back combined to make one big gun. which is always good. They did a really good job of kind of hiding the ball joints on this one, which has been my criticism with the other ones, where you can kind of see like the shoulder slides and all that, and it uncovers the ball joints. But they did good on that one, so I'm happy with that. And then I also got the Mafex Carnage.
Oh, nice. Yeah,
so I get mine next week.
Good. Pretty darn good, man. Looks just like the guy.
Just like the comic version, Mark Bagley version right there.
Absolutely. But that was it for me.
Nice.
Guys.
Nice.
Let's get into it. I want to start with the Mandalorian first.
Ooh, do we want to do that, or we want to continue the Super 7 conversation?
So is Matt saying Super 7's a piece of shit? And I got no skin in that game. I got
a question for you guys. So what do you think about all this thing with all the shipping and everything and all the craziness going on right now? What's your opinions on it?
Well, as far as like it's the nature of the beast and the times we're living in, you know what I mean? I feel like a lot of people aren't making those trips, aren't doing that shit. So I feel like, and I'm trying not to get political, I'm trying real hard, Johnny, to walk the line. Just with the, let's just say with the flack that the post office got in the last 6 months, I feel like they're notoriously understaffed. I feel like they're doing the best jobs they can. And they're probably getting record-setting mail, I would guess, this season, just due to the fact because people are staying home and they're mailing gifts through the mail, and that's not even talking about Amazon, who posted a record since COVID started, the dude made like $1 billion, like with a B. So you think about that, people aren't going to the mall, all that stuff. Like the infrastructure just isn't there for the demand. And it just, I got shit that I'm waiting on for Christmas gifts to give to people. And it's like, I don't know if this shit's going to be here. So I guess I'm going to have to take a picture of this shit and put it in a box.
So Christmas is going to be canceled. Oh no!
Here's a picture of what you're supposed to get for Christmas.
Right?
Yeah. I mean, if anybody has a package out there, I just say keep the faith, man. Like, even earlier this summer, waiting for that Studio Cell Unicron. I mean, that thing said it got from China to here in a couple of days, but then the tracking from California till it got to me here in New York took over a month. And I wasn't going crazy, nervous because, of the amount of money you spend, and we all spend a lot of money on our hobby. So it makes you a little nervous when things take a little bit longer to get you or your tracking isn't updating. But as Beansy said, the post office and the postal service, I think, is just dealing with an unprecedented amount of mail. It's holiday time with COVID out there, everybody doing online shopping. It's just going to take a little bit longer for people to get their packages. So it's the nature of the beast, man. I just say keep the faith, and I think your package will eventually show up. And hopefully, if it's a Christmas gift, it arrives in time for Christmas. If not, sorry.
So it was kind of funny. So for the Secret Santa last night, my Secret Santa revealed to me that they sent me fudge in the mail as one of my gifts. And I'm like, this shit's gonna be rocked hard by the time it gets to me.
You said package, fudge, and rock hard all in one sentence.
Yeah. What do you think of purpose?
That sounds like the tagline for Wolfie's OnlyFans.
I'm stealing that, yeah.
Randy, you were about to say something about the shipping.
Oh, yeah, I was going to say I agree with Matt. I was kind of fearful that tonight I wasn't going to agree with anything he said, but he I completely agreed. All is forgiven about Super 7. You nailed it.
Just wait.
Oh yeah.
I'll say some ridiculous shit in about 30 seconds.
I could see that, right?
You haven't heard his take on the Mandalorian yet, so just wait.
Well, do we want to get into it then?
Yeah, why not? We're here.
Main event. Let's do this.
So let's start with Kalum, since I'm sure he has the most to say about this.
I assume this is spoiler welcome, right?
Yeah. Oh yeah, absolutely.
Okay,
everybody's seen it, right?
Yeah, like this. Our show will air on Thursday, so by then everybody should have seen it already. And if you haven't, shame on you.
Everyone dies.
Oh, gave it away out the gate. No, I'm joking.
Like in life, or oh wait, no.
I've been screwing with people all week because everybody's like, "Oh, what happened? What happened? What's going on?" And I'm like, "Well, Yoda showed up with the Infinity Gauntlet and snapped, and Baby Grogu dusted away." And they're like, "What?"
Don't give Filoni any more ideas, okay? Don't. Because Fedora Boy is going to snatch that up, and it's going to be like Robo-Leg Thanos coming in to save the day.
Fedora Boy. Wow.
So, all right.
Yeah, Kalum, go ahead and get into it because I know
Just
you're
take the gloves off now?
man. Yeah, you might as well get into it.
So, I mean, Mandalorian, I think overall, I liked season 1 a lot better than season 2. So I've had a few days to digest everything, right? Season 1, I was super excited about because I like this part of Star Wars, right? The underground, the bounty hunters. Every time there's a video game, I play a bounty hunter. I don't give two rat's asses about Jedi anymore because they're boring to me. I don't want to see Jedi anymore. I was really looking forward to, like, they were doing a Mandalorian, right? I just want to see, I want to see a man making his way through the galaxy, right? That's what I wanted. And that's what I think I got with season 1. People were giving season 1 a lot of shit. He's like, well, he got his asses kicked by Jawas. I'm like, dude, if you go up against 40 fucking Jawas, that's what's going to happen to you. Like, that's real. Even when season 1, where like an ATST was actually a threat, like there was a lot of threatening stuff in season 1, and it made Star Wars scary again. It made it like hard level again, which I was excited about, right? Mm-hmm. Season 2, I enjoyed it because I really love Mandalorians, like way back from the day, like Boba Fett, the Dark Horse comics, Knights of the Old Republic, all stuff. I was heavy into the Mandalorian lore, and that's where I got disenfranchised with everything when the Clone Wars came around because they completely changed all that, right? So with season 2, I was excited because I was like, all right, he's on the hunt for Mandalorians. We're going to get some of that, because they brought in a lot of that old legend stuff that I liked, right? The space Viking stuff. Season 2 started off okay, and then I just feel like the guest appearances kept showing up. I was reliving like, oh shit, there goes my original story. Now we're continuing the stories of the Filoni people, right? Like, and that's it kind of took away from it. Overall, this is probably still my favorite Star Wars, and I am actually a fan of the sequels. Let me take that back. I'm a fan of Force Awakens, and I'm a huge fan of Last Jedi. 9 can go to hell, and I'll explain that later. But I think The Mandalorian has been the strongest offering from Star Wars in a long time. I don't agree with all of it, but it was a big melting pot that got all the fans together because there was stuff that appealed to me, the old EU stuff, the Dark Troopers, the old video game stuff, that was all in there. The Ahsoka fanboys got their moment, and I'm happy for them. I really am, depending on which this opinion of mine before. But like, I'm glad she was there. I'm glad she's getting her own show. Those fans deserve that, right? So yeah, I'm glad that the Jedi stuff is done for now. I'm hoping we can get back to some good old fashioned Mandalorians beating the shit out of each other.
Okay,
so, yeah.
Fair enough.
Sorry, that was a long rant. I didn't mean to.
Yeah, no, it's
all good. We got
That's what we're looking for.
That's good. That's good. Randy, what about you, man?
I absolutely found it fantastic. I thought it hit all the right buttons. It hit all my buttons. First of all, I'm a Luke Skywalker Jedi Knight fanatic. So that moment,
truly
brought a tear to my eye. Yeah, it was absolutely, honestly, I thought it was beautiful, and I think it really was what Star Wars is about. It hit all the right buttons. It just everything. It was emotional at the end, and I think it was cinematic. I don't know what else to say. I loved it. I can't stop talking about it. I've watched it several times, and I think it gave you the best of Star Wars: the spaceships, the lightsabers, the guns, the bounty hunters. It had it all. I don't know. I don't know how anyone. I'll just anyone who has a problem with it, it's fine. But like, I don't know. What do you like about Star Wars if you don't like lightsabers, laser blasters, spaceships, pirates. I mean, I don't understand. So I thought
I'm going to change my answer on Super 7. I don't like Super 7 anymore.
Look, the moment that Luke, that whole moment leading up to it, just totally like with the X-wing coming by, the whole seeing the fight, seeing the green lightsaber come up, still not knowing 100% sure, seeing the glove. And then finally accepting the moment that, holy shit, I'm about to see Luke Skywalker kick ass. It absolutely touched this 44-year-old man who Luke Skywalker was my childhood hero, and it was fantastic.
Yeah. I think the big thing about that too is that like we never really got to see that a lot. Like even back in the day with the Star Wars movies, with seeing such specific moments in time with those films, you almost felt cheated in a way because these characters like can be badass. But as far as live action, you didn't see it, and then when you watch something in an animated series, is it really given the same validity as something that's live action? So for somebody to finally see a character like Ahsoka in live action, it finally kind of
they caught up to the times, right? Because I mean, back then the lightsaber battle was thrilling, but with the modern technology and the choreography, I mean, it's just so surpassed what we used to think was awesome. So now we're getting to see Luke do what they're capable of doing now.
Something that we really couldn't see back then, so I thought he looked a little weird, you could tell because of,
motherfucker looked like an apple face. They carved his face out of fucking wood. That looked fucking dog shit.
So what they did was that I was reading something about it. They did the deep fake style versus like 3D rendering. They did the deep fake where they superimposed his face over somebody else's.
Yeah.
So I've seen some deep fakes, and I mean for research purposes, and I think some of those were better. But
I mean, they did the same thing with Paul Walker in the Fast and the Furious movies. When he died suddenly, and that movie wasn't finished, they had to put his face on his brother's face, and it looked about the same to me, man. I mean, it didn't bother me much. But Jose, go ahead, continue, man.
It's not something that takes me out, but it's something similar like when watching like Rogue One with Peter Cushing and stuff. Like you could just sort of tell, what I'm saying, like something's off, especially when you're seeing everybody else's face and they sort of look normal. You could tell something's off there. But the moment itself, though, like just the battle, him coming in, sort of saving the day when they thought, you're seeing the threat of those troopers. For him to come in, just kind of just wipe them all out and save the day at the end, and a character you didn't expect. I thought that was awesome, just the fan service. But I get what Kalum's saying because for a show that's called The Mandalorian, you kind of want to see this part of that Star Wars lore, and I think just based off all those announcements that recently came out over that like investors conference, they basically used this season to springboard a lot of these other properties that we're probably going to see now.
That's kind of like. Awesome. That's where I was feeling watching this season felt like more teasers for the other shows.
Yeah.
And that's where like I don't want to get away from the Luke Skywalker stuff because I understand a lot of people like that, right? But to me, as soon as the X-Wing showed up, I'm like, well, this is done. We're done. the threat of the Dark Troopers gone, right? Luke like just mowing them down. I'm like, it's just no fun anymore because there's no threat. And then when we actually see him, it's a rehash of the Vader hallway scene. And it pissed me off too because it's like, for me, when I saw Rogue One, the most redeeming factor about Rogue One was that Darth Vader hallway scene because I'm like, yes, this is what I want to see. Vader going batshit crazy on people, right? That's a Vader moment. That's an iconic Vader moment now. Yes. And then when Luke shows up and they do it almost swing for swing, and exactly the same, and it's like, who's the father-son parallels? Stop with the parallel shit in Star Wars. Like,
so when you watch this episode, that's really what you were thinking. Like you weren't caught up in the moment, and you weren't really
not at all. Because I'm not like the only time I've ever given a shit about Luke Skywalker, and I'm 40, right? So I'm within the range. The only time I've ever cared about Luke Skywalker was The Last Jedi, because that was when he finally connected to me as a character. Like before, he was annoying. He was a whiny Boy Scout.
Yeah,
he was the hero. You want to talk about somebody who didn't earn anything? Like he was basically royalty like a celebrity that just got to go through the original sequel trilogies. Like
He was a farm boy, and by the time he gets to Jedi, he's a badass. He walks into
but
Jabba's
his
palace,
family was like he was
puts
like
down the hood,
farm
and he's
boy.
ready to kick ass. It was
Because he was related to Anakin Skywalker and Padme, so they had already made him. It's just basically like it's a celebrity. He's
Yeah,
pretty
but we
much-
didn't know that
no
though.
way.
Like, let's be
But
fair.
still.
Let's be fair. You didn't know
by
that
19 years old. He
originally.
didn't know what he was.
But I never connected with Luke. I never in my
Same.
youth connected
Same.
with like I was like, give me Han, give me Chewie, give me this other stuff because these guys get it. I'm not the doughy-eyed quarterback kid that's like, I'm gonna make everything great. Probably it says a lot about me and my psychiatry bills. So I'm an asterisk there. But anyways, but to the fans, like Randy, I'm glad you got your moment.
Oh, it was great.
You know, and that's cool. But for me, I was just kind of like, okay, did he kill all the troopers yet? Because I was really looking forward to the trooper action.
I just thought it was an emotional like moment. Like even if you're not a Luke Skywalker fan, it was well put together.
Yeah.
The whole
No, it
build-up.
wasn't. Absolutely not. Nope.
What it meant.
I know it was because there was build up to the scene. So
Absolutely.
when you watch and you know with Ahsoka and she was like, you know, bring Grogu here. If he meditates at that temple, maybe a Jedi will come and search for him. If there's any Jedi left out there, there's not too many of us left. They built up that moment. You didn't know it was going to be Luke, but they did build up in the prior episodes to hey, there might be a Jedi coming. And then, of course, when Grogu got to that mountain, he did reach out. His presence was out there. That energy field. That
Star
he
Wars
was
is
in.
space opera.
It was excellent. I thought it was good.
excellent.
I thought it was good. You know, because who would have thought that they'd give you that sort of fan service? Like, was it needed? Was it necessary? Probably not. But they are in that time frame where that scene was possible. You know, and that's stuff that you never got back in the day. Like that. I wish that scene with Luke. Like, I wish we could have gotten more of that back in the day.
In the original, yeah.
You know, like,
it kind of filled the gaps, man. I'll say for me personally, when I was checking it out, I saw the finale and I was immediately blown away. Now, granted, I am somebody who did not grow up with Star Wars. I saw bits and pieces as a kid. I fell in love with the prequels, which no one really does apparently but me. But I enjoyed them, and then it got me to being more interested in the Star Wars lore. So for me, I'm not as a diehard as a fan as maybe a Kalum or a Matt or even a Randy, but I enjoyed it for what it was. It was a moment that, you know, it came in and it was Luke Skywalker. We knew he was alive, right? Because this is 10 years after Return of the Jedi.
5 years.
5 years? 5 years? Okay. So we knew he was out there. And we talked about this on the show. I kind of felt like maybe Grogu, when we found out that there was a temple and he had to reach out, that he possibly is the start of Luke's new school. So I wanted to see that, and I wanted to see that part, and I was excited to see it, but I didn't think he would come in swinging like this. This is amazing.
Yeah.
And
I was surprised, absolutely.
Yeah, I mean, and to some of you guys' point, the Dark Troopers, yes, I want to see that situation kind of flesh itself out, but it's not over. You know, I mean, there's still a whole nother season coming. We already know that got
more, right? They're doing 4, didn't they say?
Maybe. I don't know.
I heard 3 was definitely confirmed.
We're definitely getting a season 3 for sure. You know.
Yep.
So, you know.
So I mean, we can still see more. I mean, Moff Gideon is still alive. He's a prisoner now of the Rebel Alliance. So I mean, like so many ways they can go with this.
Absolutely, and you know, you've got Bo-Katan who has to earn her dark saber back. I mean, that's a whole storyline right there. I mean, just the moment where Jin whatever took off his helmet that with a puppet with Grogu. I mean, that was emotional. I mean, that was the best way, in my opinion, to let him be free of that helmet, because it was going to happen. We knew it was going to happen. I just didn't know when or where, and I thought it was well done.
Yeah.
The moment with Grogu and the Mandalorian, that was good, right? That was
I'll agree with that.
Yeah, because those are the two characters that I'm concerned about, right?
Yeah.
I'm like, show me that, and then I got that. I'm like, okay, cool. So.
And also, Kalum, to your point, you're going to get. I mean, she got to get that dark saber from him, even though he gave it to her. She doesn't want it. She wants it the right way. So now you're going to get to see the story that you want. They only gave us a little bit of the Jedi, and for everybody who was fans of the Jedi, we got what we wanted. Now everybody, I think they did a good job of giving everybody what they wanted this season.
I totally disagree. I totally disagree. That was the laziest fucking writing I've ever seen. Like, so you just painted yourself into a box. So you have this character that everybody loves and is a fucking moneymaker. You're giving them to the person that's responsible for the second Jedi fucking annihilation. Like, now you got to write that in. It was just so fan service. I was so upset when I saw that was Luke. So upset. It literally could have been any other Jedi, and you just have to keep going back to this fucking well that's full of shit water.
Any other Jedi, I mean, it's time
you need to stop. You need to stop.
No, you're right, Randy. In this time frame, what other Jedi would there be, Matt?
There could be. So if you really think about numbers, there's Order 66. No, not Ezra. They could have put their balls on the line and said, look, I survived the purge because I was looking at fucking rocks on Tatooine all by myself. You can't tell me every single Jedi.
They gave you Luke Skywalker.
Yeah, exactly. That's the safe bet.
They gave you
That's
the safe motherfucker, and you're not happy. Come on, man. Come on.
I don't know.
I'm not because it's the safe, easy play.
See, but the thing is that I think with this time period that they're telling the story in, you could make up another Jedi character. They didn't do it here.
Right.
You know, they gave us Luke, and that's going to get the pop from the fans. But they're working in a time frame that they could create another Jedi, create another character that survived Order 66, and they could go in an entourly new direction. Like,
but they
the
can
story's
still
not
do that, right?
Yeah,
they can still do that, and it doesn't like storytelling.
No, because you went back to the well, you took the safe bet and the easy road out where they could have.
Though, dude, look, you can't say they're wrong when look at the reaction of the fandom getting that scene at the end of that.
You know what? I've never given a shit about Luke. I've always thought Luke was the worst character in the entire trilogy.
But that's irrelevant. I mean, if you think that, because if you don't like Luke, you almost don't like Star Wars, right?
That's totally false. Totally false. How's that even? That's not even comparable. Like,
I think there's a lot to like about Star Wars.
But I think his point is it's based around one particular character. Like, it gives you these side stories, but the main character in this is Vader and Luke, and Vader's gone. So without those two characters, you don't have Star Wars. Yeah. So I think that's his point.
But I feel like the show, that first season was really trying to be its own thing and do its own thing. And did I love all of it? No. But it was just the safe, easy. And now you're lining yourself up with, well, what happens to Grogu when Kylo Ren loses his shit?
Well, but that's still a lot of years away, though. At this point,
and now we all want to know these things because they wove the story.
My entire point is we need to get away from that trilogy. We need to get away from it. It's supposed to be this vast universe. Let's not keep going to the well, and we keep bringing these doing this
but
fan
it's hard
service
to do that when you still give them, when you're filling in the gap between two of the major trilogies. Like, you still have, this happens between 6 and 7, so you gotta give fans the understanding of what happened in between here. So you're never going to get away from that if you keep going back there. So now you have to go either beyond 9 or before 1, and that's coming. So I think you guys
hopefully
with that.
And maybe this is the closure maybe that you can have for all you Luke haters, because maybe that sort of closes that up.
I hope so. I really do.
I'm going to jump in real quick. So I think the problem with the Star Wars fan base is we've been accustomed to this recycling for the last 15 years. Right?
Yep.
That's all they've done.
You got the Filoni baloney coming out, right? Because what did Filoni do with Rebels, right? Rebels failed its first season, and I've been in many arguments with that. Andy, I hope you're listening. But the problem is, it's like the only time Rebels got successful is when they brought it, right? What's the highlight of Rebels? It's the Ahsoka Vader fight, No one gives a shit about Chopper. No one gives a shit about Zeb running around stealing space melons with Ezra. Fuck Ezra, by the way. Sorry. But the problem is what Star Wars has become, and what I am so tired of, is like they have to keep reconnecting things over and over and over. Like Ezra should have never met Obi-Wan. Ezra should have never talked to Yoda. Like that's the kind of crap that they keep trying to shoehorn. Grogu should have never been at the Jedi Temple, in my opinion, because we had this creature who was new and exciting. We've never seen Yoda species, right? It could have been just naturally good at the Force. There's a whole story but they had to come in and shoehorn him and try to explain away and try to jam him into the stuff that's already come before, right? It's like, and that's what fans are saying is like, oh, it's all connected. It's like, it doesn't have to be connected. You don't have to have this.
It does. When you put it in between two movies, it has to connect because you have to make all of this stuff make sense.
You don't need main characters showing up.
Yes, you do to an extent, and they're making cameos. It's not like they're running the whole gambit. They're making cameos.
They're sort of like just kind of like exactly trying to connect little things here and there. Where Kalum, I agree with you. They don't really have to do that. But now, like after catching up with that Ahsoka episode and finding out Grogu was at the temple, that meme with Anakin texting Grogu like, "Don't show up at the temple." Makes a whole lot more sense. I thought that was pretty great. Like after watching that episode, I'm like, okay, I get it now. You know what? It's true. Like they don't have to do it, but I think tugging on those strings and nostalgia just helps the fans it brings them in a little bit more. And I think you're going to get plenty of new where it's not really connecting to anything else. You're just going to be getting stories within that Star Wars universe. I think that's coming eventually, and you're going to see more of that in the future.
I hope so. Well, my like people like, well, they can't do that. Well, Marvel did it with fucking Guardians of the Galaxy. When they announced Guardians of the Galaxy was coming out, even big comic book heads like myself were like, what the fuck? Like, really?
Yep.
Like there is no they need to break this continually going to the well of those established characters.
They're giving you 8 new Star Wars shows. Perhaps one of those will fit your needs. And I don't know.
And that's the thing with Mandalorian, right?
Yeah.
This was going to be my bounty hunter show. This is my Wild West show, and then it turned into the Ahsoka, Luke, and Bo-Katan show.
Well, wait, it still is though, Kalum, because they're done with that now.
Boba Fett too. They introduced him again.
Yeah, they got
I'm totally fine with Boba Fett, by the way, but that's another story.
He's
the original Mandalorian, right? Yeah. Because he's the original template for the Mandalorians, right? Then you throw in the Filoni stuff with what he did in the Clone Wars and Rebels, and then he introduces this dumbass space Excalibur with the Darksaber. Like, he totally ruined Mandalorians. And now, you know what my favorite scene of the last episode was? The finale was when Boba and Bo-Katan walk into a bar. And I think there's a horse. I don't know. There could be a joke there. I don't know.
Yeah.
When they all are sitting there talking to each other, like I was in that as a Facebook comment section of Star Wars nerds yelling at each other, because you got the Boba fans like myself who's like, I don't want to be a part of you. Fuck. And then Bo-Katan's like, well, you're not one of us. Yeah. And then like that whole thing was like the 3 factions of Star Wars fans that are all about Mandalorians. And there's like the Filoni Mandalorians, there's the old school Mandalorians, and now we got the Mando Mandalorians, which is the Death Watch cult, which is more similar to what they used to be. So like they're trying to merge all that stuff, but they're still so trying to connect everything. They just need to connect stuff. That's just...
I think they're successfully connecting things. I don't know. I mean,
I agree.
I think they're.
Oh, go ahead, Randy.
It's lazy. It's the sure bet. Like, think outside the box. Be creative.
You know what? You know what happens when they do that? They get the Last Jedi. That's what happens. And what kind of?
No, that's false. That's false. That's entirely false.
Bullshit. That's what happened.
The last Jedi happened because everybody got on the fucking internet, and we have to have. And there was no cohesive story. When you write 3 movies, you have a plot line of your 3 movies. you just don't throw shit at the wall and be like, oh, that's the episode 1. How'd that go over? Oh, people like this, people didn't like that, and then you fucking take another shit and you throw that at another wall. And there
I
was
agree
no.
with you on that, but The Last Jedi was exactly what you said. Like, it's trying to tell you different storytelling, and people shit on it like crazy. And I didn't like it, but it doesn't matter. I did respect that they were trying to do something different. But
It also made zero sense, and it's another problem that I have with Star Wars.
But Matt, isn't that to your point though? Like, they did something different. They went outside the box. It bombed.
No, they didn't do something different because they didn't have a cohesive vision. They listened to what the internet had to say, and all the fucking little whiny crybabies.
I think they did.
They didn't listen to that. Exactly. They didn't listen to episode 7.
Well, that's how we got episode 9. Was listening to Twitter.
Right.
Yeah.
Exactly.
That's how you got episode 9.
That was the
Right.
apology because
So,
7 felt like classic Star Wars, almost like a New Hope, right? Like the original,
Right.
episode 4. With The Last Jedi, they went in a completely different direction, and I enjoyed it because of the fact that the good guys were making mistakes. They were making decisions, and their decisions didn't pan out. Like towards the end of it, and they were fucking up like all over the place in that movie. So it kind of made it a little bit like realistic to me in that way, where it's not like, oh, okay, we just came up with a decision and that decision panned out. Like more than once in that movie, decisions that they made turned out wrong, and I kind of dug that. And then because so many people seem to shit on that movie, it seemed like the Rise of Skywalker was like an apology and trying to fix all that.
Right. Yes.
And in trying to do that, they kind of, I feel like they screwed it up. They should have just kept going the way that they were going and let that story be told. In regards to Mando, though, like despite all the callbacks and trying to connect things, I did feel like they did a very good job with the character development of Mando himself and his relationship with Grogu. Because how we were saying, he never takes off his mask, but he did it with Grogu in that final scene before giving him to Luke, and he even did it when they broke into that
with Bill Burr.
With Bill Burr, and he had to take off his mask for the face scan, and he kept the mask off when talking to that superior officer and stuff like that. So you see the evolution of his character and how certain rules that he adhered to before, he's not really adhering to like anymore, and it's based off his relationship with the child, So I dug
think it's a character. I think it was lovely. I think it was like the middle ground of all Star Wars. It was giving you making the people happy who wanted to see the old, people happy who want to see new people. I mean, it was a beautiful symphony.
I think for the first time in the recent years, Star Wars finally tried to do, or the writers tried to go straight down the middle. They tried to appeal to the fans of the EU stuff and the original lore and people who like more specific stuff, and the casual fan who loves Jedi, love the surface stuff. They tried to put the two together. I think on this particular season, they did a really good job of doing both.
There was some those first 2 episodes are complete garbage, though. Like, those are bad episodes.
Yeah, but they turned that shit up pretty quick, though. As soon as
they definitely. I was real nervous with those first 2 episodes.
I remember you saying that. I saw your stuff on Facebook. You're like, oh, okay, now I'm in.
Yeah, right. No, I mean, those first 2 like that second episode, I was like, ooh, if there's a third episode like this, I don't know, man. And I get why people like it, and if you like it, you win. And I really don't give a shit. I just would like to see some real like creative, with that world. Let's grab the bull by the horns and tell a story that's new and fresh, and we're not relying on this other stuff where we're kind of painting ourselves into a box.
So you want them to tell a Star Wars story that isn't Star Wars?
You got to buy the video game, BNT. You got to buy the video game. That's it.
How does that even make sense? So we can't have a Star Wars show that's just about, that doesn't have any fucking Jedi in it.
Well, okay,
I don't think you can.
Give me a Bill Burr show.
But
give me a Bill Burr show.
It's coming.
Done.
I mean, pretty much. I see what you're saying, but like all of that lies within this world. Like, you don't have to focus on the Jedi. You don't have to focus on the X-Wing squadron. You don't have to focus on this and that, but those have to be present, or it's just
Yep.
Why?
What is it?
Why?
Or it's
Why?
not Star Wars, or it's not Star
Just
Wars.
call it Space Adventures then, or just call it
You're
sci.
wrong, dude.
See,
like,
I don't
nope.
know.
I'm
Star
sorry.
Wars is so big.
I'm sorry. Nope. It's so vast, so big. There's a world and there's a lore set up, and it
Sure,
doesn't.
Yeah,
it
but
doesn't
when-
have to
you're not
rely
saying-
on what came
then why
before.
The characters don't have to cross over, but it has to
Right.
have that Star Wars familiarity. You have to have
Exactly.
the ships.
I
You
don't
have to have the
understand.
worlds. You have that. You know, if it's all
That-
brand new
that-
worlds,
that's-
it's not going to be familiar to you.
That's
Yeah, I agree with that.
you
you
can
think
have
it's okay
you can have X-wings, you can have like all that stuff, but if you start like, oh, this is another Skywalker, here's Luke again, like what the fuck? Like
Well, what if,
the-
what if they don't even mention Luke and it's all just the same story over?
I
and
hear
over
you
again,
on
talking
that.
about
That makes
Jedis and
sense.
stuff.
But to say like they're gonna have a whole show where like I don't know what makes it Star Wars if you take out the Star Wars. I mean, is it okay to have an Ugnaught? Is it okay to have like that
Wow.
stuff makes Star
yeah.
Wars, right?
Right? Are we not doing the Galactic Empire anymore? Like
No,
remnant
I'm
of them?
you guys like we don't need to keep going back to these like to the same characters,
It's the
just to that thing,
So it's the
I-
to
characters.
the same well.
Yep.
Yeah, but I think that's what we're saying. Like you still without not even a specific character, right? Like you don't have to have Rey, you don't have to have Luke, you don't have to have
Mhm.
Darth Vader, but you have to have the symbols of what these characters were. So you
Like
have
the
to have
Jedi, like
you
all
gotta
that.
have some type of remnant of a stormtrooper or something somewhere.
No, and that's not a. You guys are like, maybe I'm not saying,
That's what
bring
we're
my
trying to
point.
understand. We're just trying to get an understanding of what you mean.
Yeah.
I just don't want the same characters. It's supposed to be a vast universe. I get it. The ships all need to look the same. There has to be a Jedi Order. There has to be Imperial remnants, if not Imperials, Siths, all that stuff. I'm awesome with it. But when you keep bringing up, like, it's like Luke comes and saves the day. And, when you keep relying on these same characters, if you keep going back to that, like tell stories that don't involve them. You know what I mean? In that universe. That's all.
Matt,
Because
are any of the new shows that like they announced last week or so? Did any of those like meet the requirements, like the staying away from?
I mean, I think the Ashoka show could be really good. I mean,
That's Clone Wars, though. We got that already. That's not.
yeah, I know, but it's not.
To Matt's point, right? He's talking about. So look at Ahsoka, right? She's been in Clone Wars, Rebels, Mandalorian. She's shown up in 3 different series because she's never. Filoni's never been able to finish her story correctly, right? That's on him. So if the whole Jedi thing, like you can tell a Star Wars story without Jedi. There's plenty of that. There's
I don't think you
millions
can.
of video.
Solo
I think
was without Jedi.
I
right?
think
Yeah, that's a good point, Jose.
No, the Solo wasn't.
Rogue One.
because- Hold on. Solo wasn't because you still got Darth Maul at the end of this story.
Because they had to throw something in there with a lightsaber.
That's-
You,
I
Aaron,
think
you could cut that out
Fine.
completely, and it would be okay.
You could totally cut that out.
Yeah.
Like for people like me, right?
Yeah.
When Star Wars to me, originally, that's dogfighting, space dogfighting. Give me a fucking X-wing, give me a fucking TIE fighter. I want to go up against the Star Destroyer. I don't give 2 shits about Luke Skywalker and his Jedi Academy, right? The video games are proof that you can tell Star Wars stories without Jedi. And with
Wait,
this
what
TV
video
show,
game? I think only two are without Jedis, right? Rogue Squadron and the other. What was the other one?
We could do it.
The other one that was like a fighter.
Battlefield?
Rogue
so you
One.
got the entire TIE Fighter series, you have the X-Wing series, you have X-Wing
Bounty
like,
Hunter.
There's Bounty Hunter, which
Bounty Hunter,
did
no,
have a
Bounty Hunter,
Jedi.
exactly. You still
But you-
encounter a Jedi.
I think
The original
you
Dark
tell,
Forces, no Jedi.
You said what? The
tell
original
it
one?
without Jedi, but you need to have the presence of the Jedi in the universe because the Jedi have a big presence in the Star Wars universe.
The
But you
same
can
way
tell
the
a
Galactic
story
Empire
without-
did.
like
No,
he said, like
they're-
without
they're-
Skywalker. But the
If we're
Yeah.
talking about this
Still
time
there.
frame,
the
if we're
power of
talking
the
about
Jedi is still there, right?
no, because and that's what, like anytime you. Okay, I'm gonna go to Star Wars Galaxies. Anybody ever play that back in the day?
Back in the
Okay,
A long time
so
ago.
back in the day, it was about 2000, right? It was during the times of EverQuest and the of the MMOs, right? So you had a Star Wars Galaxy game. You could thing that
You're
you
talking
wanted,
about a video game.
and I'm trying to give you an example of what a Jedi do to a game, because the game was hugely successful because you could be a bounty hunter, you could be a fucking dancer. Like people used to hang out in cantinas and dance. They introduced Jedi and it ruined the game, because the second you introduce the Jedi element, now everything becomes overpowered and everybody wants to be that Jedi thing takes everything over, right? So like if we're telling stories within this time frame, there should be no Jedi. Luke was the last if we're going by the old trilogy, but they keep adding in Ahsoka's and Ezra's and everything else, and Jesus Christ, like the Emperor never won. Like that's
right, but he was the last until we saw the new trilogy, which this came after that new trilogy. So there's still Jedi out there, because we see it with Rey. So
no,
that's
because that's the clone. So the Clone Wars and the Rebels had reintroduced these Jedi that were supposed to be dead. They were supposed to be totally wiped out. When at the time of the original trilogy, it was supposed to be it was Obi-Wan and Yoda.
Obi-Wan and
and
Yoda, yeah.
And then Luke was the next generation. He was the last to be trained, right? But now that we've gone back and everybody loves Jedi so much, they try to keep them cramming in there. We keep retconning over and over again, and that's where we get our Ahsokas. This is where we're getting our Ezras, and this is where the whole timeline keeps getting more muddy. My point is, you can stop with the Jedi shit, because people like me, I want to see a bounty hunter show where it's just in the Star Wars universe. Do not give me any Jedi. I don't see a lightsaber ever again. I'm bored of Jedi because nothing bad ever happens to him.
No. Yeah.
Like when Luke showed up, zero threat to him. And I was like, this is just pointless now, because now the whole thing is shot.
I see what you're talking about, man. I see.
There's a show that I want to kind of see that's completely off the walls. I want to see a fucking buddy cop style show of R2D2 and C3PO from their perspective of all this shit.
That's coming.
I think the show and all those announcements through that investors conference kind of do show, like, I think this is the beginning. We're going to start getting that branching out. You're going to start maybe seeing different genres of shows within this universe, because like this is the first time we're getting it really outside of the movies. Like, when have we had a live action Star Wars show before with this sort of quality of special effects?
Yeah,
Ewok Adventure, Jose.
That's
Ewok,
come on,
come on. And to me, animation is not the same thing. Like, I love animated shows, but they're not on the same level as a live action show. Like, I feel like now, like a character like Ahsoka is made more valid now that she's appeared in live action in The Mandalorian. Like, you know what I'm saying? It gives more credence to that character, because you could almost say anything that's animated or outside of these live films almost don't count. In a way, unless you see them in live action and they're connected in some type of way. But otherwise, they're just a side story,
I guess it wouldn't bother me as much, too, if I'm fascinated by that time period, because it's like you have the Imperials, you have the Rebels who are now in charge, and it appears like they're just a fucking sack of fuck-ups. Yeah. If you look at the, Rise of Skywalker and all those films, it's like, you guys didn't know that there was this huge fucking Imperial fleet and a planet of fucking cult, like you guys are straight up incompetent.
Yeah, but to me, that's just out of the blue, because that just, to me, I mean, listen, this is fantasy and it's Star Wars.
Yeah, absolutely.
When you try to apply some logic to it too, it's like, look at Starkiller Base, a fucking planet-sized weapon. Like, how long did it take them to build that? What were the resources that went into that?
But
and then think about the Rise of Skywalker, a whole planet of Star Destroyers. You got 10,000 fucking Star Destroyers that each one could kill a planet. Like, what the fuck? Like where?
Like, you didn't notice
time, the money, the resources. Like I sort of think about shit like that. And then in a span of 30 years, how long did it take to fucking build the Death Star? Like, you know what I'm saying? Like, it's all around the same time, right? Roughly, so I mean, that's logic shit, that I bring up. But
I mean, it should like, I do get what you're saying, and it's fucking space wizards and fucking, like, I get that.
You can't apply too much logic.
But you got to have, like, so if you set a precedent in your world, like, I want to know more about, the Imperial remnant, and like how like, it just seems like, especially in The Mandalorian, the New Republic is full of fucking idiots. Like, they're a bunch of fucking dopes. Like, only that one guy's like, there's something real bad going on in the Outer Rim. you know, and like, we better pay attention to it. And you know, that guy's going to go to his superiors and be like, hey, there's something real bad in the Outer Rim. We better, he's like, shut up. You're cleaning toilets. You know,
Well, I think we're starting to get there as far as branching out to get something different. Because, like I said, Rogue One was close. There wasn't much Jedi involvement there,
Right.
except for the blind guy. Which, was he really a Jedi?
No,
He had powers, and then the Darth Vader scene at the end. And then Solo, mostly you didn't really get any Jedi stuff in that movie. It was more like, you know, like a pirate sort of like movie, a smuggler. You know, in space type of film. Like, you know, so I think the door is open to see more stuff like that without so much ties to things that we're already familiar with.
But I mean, to Calum's point, the Jedi are so overpowered, and I feel like they keep. I want the Jedi in Star Wars because you're right, that does make Star Wars. But the thing is, it should be a seasoning, not the main course, if that makes sense.
Yeah, I mean, moving forward, that's how you would do it. I mean, and I think they're trying to set you up for that. Especially look at the end of Rise of Skywalker. She buried her lightsabers. Like, she's even moving on. Like, that's like, that was supposed to put a cap on the Jedi. But again, they went back and did the Mandalorian. That's right in the middle of
I know. I just me personally, if I was writing that show, it wouldn't have been Luke Skywalker. It would have been an unknown character, and I mean, what are we going to do for season 3? And let's be totally honest, Baby Yoda is their fucking cash cow. Well, like, Baby Yoda has to be on the show, like, period.
Well, he said he'll see him again.
Until Ahsoka, though, wasn't essentially Luke the last Jedi anyway, so by introducing another Jedi, it just sounds like that would be an opportunity for them to just, like, say, let's make another Jedi. But having Luke showed up seems so perfect because he was the Jedi of that time. He was, as far as we knew, he was the only Jedi. So for him to show up was not only the most sensible, logical way for the storyline, but it was the most emotional way to have that happen. I mean,
see, that made me angry versus happy because I've never been a Luke fan. I've always thought he was just.
No, but you're more angry with the fact that it's Luke because you don't like Luke, as opposed to just watching it for what it was. Like if that's a moment in Star Wars lore.
If some random Jedi just showed up, maybe one we didn't even know. Like, what would that have told us? It would just
because it frees you from the later movies. It allows you to tell a freer story, and you have more control if you want to keep this cohesive.
How many questions?
But remember, we just don't.
And the Jedi just showed up. Your questions would be like, wait, who the hell is this guy? Where's he been?
Right, and where has he been exactly?
Wait,
And then here comes season 3, and you have the Mandalorian, you have Yoda, and you have the fucking Jedi, like, trying to figure shit out, and it could be a whole exposition, like, hey, look, the Order came down, and I was on Dagobah looking for snakes.
But now the Mandalorian becomes everything you hate. It becomes a show where you have to learn about this new Jedi. Where Luke comes, takes Grogu out of there, and now you get to go back to your Mandalorian, where it's just bounty hunters.
Yeah, but they're not gonna get rid of Grogu. They're not.
No, but he said he'll see him again, but like he won't be as
what
heavy.
If they do though? Right. We're only assuming you can't do this show without Baby Yoda. But what if they do?
No, because. Yeah, you can't because that's their moneymaker.
I think they can.
I think the whole story of the Mandalorian, I mean, is the connection and the bond.
Right. No, you're right. But period, dollars and cents. If the next season of the Mandalorian doesn't have Baby Yoda, you know how many people are going to be irate?
I don't think so.
Because I think people love that character. We wanted more. I think the next season is basically both the Mandalorian and Grogu's journeys of just Grogu want to be a Jedi, or does he want to be with the Mandalorian?
Does he want to become like his father? Yeah,
right.
I feel you.
That's what I connected to, is that I do love Mandalorian, but I did love Grogu. We all love Grogu. Yeah.
I didn't.
Really?
You're
not. They would have taken out that element. I mean, it could have still been good.
The payoff was great. And I have to say, I love Baby Yoda and I hate him at the same time because it got my girls into Star Wars and it got a lot of normies into watching Star Wars. So there's that. But there was just a lot of like, oh, Baby Yoda in the fucking spittoon, and there were just some episodes where it was just like Baby Town frolics that I just thought.
Well, with any series, you're gonna have filler episodes, right? So like you're gonna get that.
No doubt.
But I think what you have to also remember is that they've already see what I love about the Mandalorian is they set you up for the next season, and you see little subtle things as their build up, and they gave it to us at the end of this. That Darksaber has to go with Bo-Katan regardless. She wants that.
Fuck her. She's terrible.
But here's
Give
the
it
thing.
to the armor.
But that's not my point. My point is you may not like her, but fans want to know how this is going to play out now. And this is your opportunity to do this as the main story and just drop Baby Yoda in there every now and then. But now you don't have to deal with Baby Yoda. Now you got to figure out how you keep this away from Bo-Katan, or how does she get this, and how does he allow himself to give it to her?
This also sets up Star Wars for our best talents ever, which is fighting amongst other Star Wars fans. Because
right.
But like, so like the whole like, I wanted season 2. I wish it would have ended on a cliffhanger. I wish Gideon would have won, and
it did technically.
But I would have said I would have preferred they saved the Luke hand. Cool hand, Luke. Yeah, no.
You wanted to stretch that out.
Is that the episode?
Because I think this episode to me, like the buildup wasn't worth the payoff. I felt it kind of felt a little flat, and I think if to solve everybody's arguments here, if this was the very end of the show, like then handing off Grogu to Luke, and that's roll credits, that's the end of this series. Like that's what they should have
so much better, right?
Yeah, because now
we don't know that yet. I mean, I see your point, but we really don't know that. For what we know is that next season could be with these elements could just be like holy shit. I mean,
because episode 1 of season 3, I'm hoping they're trying to take Gideon back and Imperials jump him and he gets away.
I mean, we've got.
I think he's a great villain because I think. That's the thing too.
He's a very, very bad man. I love it.
Star Wars is lacking a good, solid villain, and I know there's the Thrawn argument. Trust me, I read all those books back in the day too. I think we got the Cliff Notes version of Thrawn. I didn't quite. The Rebels.
Even with that, you got that element because they mentioned his name.
Yep.
That's going to be the show.
That ties it right to the whole Rebels crap. It's the whole Filoni recycling things and then trying to like jam them back into Star Wars.
They were spinning off. Like I said, we were spinning off. Obviously, like all those announcements of shows, we got spinoffs here. Like the book of Boba from that post-credit scene now, which I don't even know if that's its own show or if that's where Mandalorian season 3 is going to focus.
No, it's its own show.
And it's happening side by side with the Mandalorian, so you're gonna get a new season of Mandalorian the same time you're gonna get because it's coming out the same season,
right? And Ahsoka show is also going to take place in the same timeline, from what I understand.
I enjoy. I'm enjoying the fact. So, like up until that point, up until that announcement last week, this is what I had to struggle with as a fan, right? Because it's like the Ahsoka episode. I don't think it was that good, but to the fans who love Ahsoka, I'm sure that was the best thing because the very next week, I get Boba back, and I fucking loved every second of it. When he's just going batshit crazy with a stick.
I'd have to agree with you, Kalum. Awesome. I like Ahsoka from what I've seen in Clone Wars and Rebels. That episode was just okay to me.
Yeah.
See, I'm the opposite. I didn't care for Ahsoka in Clone Wars, and then I watched that episode, and now I'm like, I like her. So.
Say one more thing real quick. Nostalgia is like one. He's holding us back. And what's happening is there's so many people that are hooked on nostalgia and they keep recycling that. It's holding Star Wars back. My whole thing with Star Wars is I want it to grow as I get older, right? So I wanted to tackle, like, yes, I was in love it when I was a kid, but like I want to see more of the Rogue One stuff. I want to see more of the Bill Burr episode where it's touching on that moral gray area of, I was an Imperial.
I want to see that story.
I want to be pissed off. And I know it's not the fan favorite, but the themes in The Last Jedi of failure, of buying into your own hype, of falling from grace, and then eventually finding your own way to redeem yourself at the end because you didn't buy into some idea, like absolutely love that. And that's what I want to see more of.
Wouldn't you say that the
I like
overall
that perspective.
general success of the Mandalorian and its ability to cross generations is a sign of success? The fact that my kids are interested in the Mandalorian, that in my shop people come in looking for Mandalorian stuff, that the action figures are selling again, isn't that sort of a sign that the Mandalorian has done exactly what you're asking?
It has crossed generations.
I'm hoping so, because it's like I use my wife as an example, right? We've been married for 20 years. Has it been 20 years? No, we've been together for 20 years. Don't tell her I said that. But we've been together since we were 18 and 19, right? And like her biggest thing has been to resist Star Wars. Like it's just it's like, that's your nerd shit. That's not my stuff. She cried when we watched the
same in my
because So I'm like,
so you should be loving that.
Luke Skywalker didn't bring her in. Grogu brought her in. So like I might just go back on everything I just ranted about, but I'm happy that there's new fans, right? Mandalorian is doing good things for the fandom. The problem is there's so many factions of fans that were ripping each other apart because it's like and I'm give it too. I don't like Filoni. I think he's a glorified fan fiction writer who's a kid that just throws all his toys on the ground and just starts mashing them together, right? That's why Ezra's meeting Yoda. That's why fucking everybody's got necked. Like, I don't like that shit.
And he's getting the big bucks to do it too.
What storyteller would you like to tell I'm just trying to get an idea of your sensibility. What storyteller do you think?
I don't even know. I don't even know. Because I know,
David motherfucking Finch.
Look, I'd like to see a David Finch Star Wars, but that's not Star Wars.
You have this preconceived notion of what Star Wars is.
Fair enough.
It can happen in this universe with the Imperials, with the Jedi. For the Jedi fanboys, I feel like they should go to that High Republic era and do that Jedi shit, and then we can do my whole point is, let's get away from these tropes that have become Star Wars, namely the characters and that specific timeline, that specific time period. They need to go way far away from it or way far past it, so it frees up creative people to come up with this new shit. You know what I mean?
Well, let me ask you this, Matt. Let me
agree with you. I actually think forward, I would love to see Star Wars going forward instead of always going back and getting muddled into all that stuff. I 100% agree with you. But I think I do think they're making the right decisions now to allow that to happen. But I do agree, it's time to go 20 years in the future. Let's and I think that's what they were trying to do. Well, no, that's not what they were trying to do with the last trilogy, but that's what they needed to do. But I think that was their way to try to close it all together and end so they can do that.
Yeah, let me ask you this, Matt. So you brought up Guardians of the Galaxy, and from the sounds of it, you love comics. What did you think about Marvel shoehorning them into the trilogy or the whole 10-movie film?
The Avengers thing?
Yeah.
So when they announced they were doing a Guardians of the Galaxy, I was like, what? What? Because that was always like a D-level book or a C-level book. Like, very few people were like real Guardians of the Galaxy. So I was like, that's fucking weird. But then I saw it. I was like, I'll check this out. Like, they got
made you love it.
Yeah, and they made me love it. And I just feel that Star Wars could do the same thing. Like in a different time period, away from, or just away from
But here's the thing. They are doing that. The same thing that happened with Guardians of the Galaxy, because we saw the first and the second movie. And even though you saw pieces of Thanos, you know what I mean? Like they were their own story in a far universe, galaxies away. But then they eventually brought them into the fold and put them right in dead smack in what you were familiar with. Is that not what they are doing with the Mandalorian?
I agree with you, Eric. Good point.
It's the same exact thing.
I mean, you're not wrong. I just wish they would take that initial seed, which was the Mandalorian, and I feel like they just did that turn way too fast in a way too predictable a way. Does that make sense?
I mean, it does, but I'm just saying it defeats your point because you loved it with the Guardians of the Galaxy, and they did that in 2 movies. They just stuck them right in the middle of this 10-movie series, right in the middle of it. Shoehorned them right in it.
Did a little bit like another season before they did.
They needed more time.
Okay, I got you.
And I feel like Kalum said, if they ended the show with Luke, like.
So season 3, season 4, like we're not doing this anymore.
This is the end of the show. This is the end of the character. If that's how they ended the series, I would have been all aboard.
I see your point, but just another way to look at it, by them doing it now, it allows them to get it out of the way and then broaden and get out of it completely. That's what I think.
We know it's going to end, but we don't want the Mandalorian to end after season 3.
Yeah.
I mean, I don't. I want to see more. You know what I mean?
No, I just think that would have been the perfect end cap. Now they've kind of painted themselves into a little bit of a corner in my.
Well,
I don't think they did. I think they opened themselves up.
Because what if we would have done the Mandalorian for another 2 more seasons and then wrapped it up with Luke, and then you would have felt, the whole thing was just to get him to Luke. But now that they got the Luke thing out of the way, they could move far away from that. But if they would have done
that is a good point. So if the show, we're all assuming that the show is going to take place like 3 weeks after that scene. What if it's 20 years? You know what I mean? Like so they. It just from my feeling, you've kind of painted yourself into a corner by putting Grogu with Luke, because when does chronologically Kylo go batshit and destroy the entire temple?
Another 20 years.
I got a quick question for you guys. So, do you think that they painted themselves into a corner, like Matt said, but even putting Grogu on the show in the first place?
No.
I think they painted themselves out of a corner by having Luke on right away.
I think so.
So I think
I'm not talking Luke. I'm talking about putting Grogu on the show.
I think it depends on how next season plays out. What are their plans? Like, are people going to be into this story with the dark sabers and the Mandalorian culture in general?
Are they more into it for the Mandalorian or more into it for the Grogu?
I think
we'll see.
I think most people who aren't into Star Wars are into it because of Grogu. Grogu is the creature that Lucas was trying to create ever since the beginning.
I think he's more than that though, because he also bridges.
I'm not saying he isn't. I'm not saying he isn't more than that.
But whether you like it or not, right? The Force Awakens, Rise of Skywalker trilogy, like that's part of Star Wars now. So Grogu at least is that, like, because obviously he's the blood that, I mean, I don't know obviously, but he's the blood that creates the clone of the Emperor. So somehow they're bridging that in, and they actually have potential of making that story better. And
like the Clone Wars did, because this is the thing that, like, everybody loves the prequels right now, and I'm like, 5 years ago they were still on board with me.
Totally.
They hated it, right? Because what happened?
I loved them from the gate.
We got you're cool for most of the time, but
I agree.
People forget. Like I lived through that. I lived through the disappointment of going to see Phantom Menace, and then I'm like, okay, here it comes. Attack of the Clones is gonna be it. This is what I wanted to see, the darkness and all this stuff. And I get fucking death sticks, and I'm like, okay, how about this?
You got Jar Jar.
And then I got Jar Jar, and then I'm like, Revenge of the Sith. This is my movie. This is where the Emperor's gonna come out, and he's just gonna. And then I got fucking Hayden Christensen whining on the ground.
And now everyone is excited about Hayden Christensen coming back.
Everybody's excited. So, like, this is my long game, right? My daughter loves Rey. So in 20 years, she's going to be arguing with nerds on the internet when I'm probably dead, defending Rey and going against the prequels. But the thing that the prequels had for it was it's had this 7 to 10 job of the Clone Wars, right? Because when the Clone Wars launched, that movie launched way back in the 2004, 2005, it was a fucking joke, and it turned people like me.
I disagree. I think
no. The Clone Wars movie, the animated movie. That was like movie, the ultimate, with the Stinky. They actually named him Stinky, the little baby Jabba the Hutt.
Yeah, I remember
that was the ultimate kick in the nuts.
It was not good.
The original trilogy fans, and that's where I just checked out of Star Wars for a good 10 years because
that movie was not good.
all the Clone Wars stuff coming out, and that's where they hooked all this new generation of kids.
See,
And that's where
I disagree. I think that now the kids who grew up with Phantom Menace and Attack of the Clones, they're now 30, 32 years old, and that's what they grew up with, and that's what they love. So I think it is a generational thing, and I think you're going to see
it absolutely is.
Yeah,
It's what when you're at a certain age bracket, the Star Wars that's like the current thing is gonna be your Star Wars.
Yeah.
And I had a lot of like I said, I love and hate Baby Yoda at the same time. You know, I love that he's able to get like more normies involved. So that means more Star Wars stuff is gonna, you know, maybe someday I'll get my fucking David Fincher fucking Star Wars. You know, or whatever. But at the same token, I don't see Baby Yoda not being on the show. I think.
Well, I don't think they cut him out.
Absolutely not, because I think he's a pivotal part of what is the story.
Even going back to Jason's original question, right? And I kind of forget it, but I kind of remember it. But it's like, you know, could they have continued on with just? To me, season 1 is a perfect, complete story, right? Because at that time, we didn't know his name was Grogu. He was still a mystery. He was just in a box somewhere in a warehouse on some. He was not yet. Sorry, my hands are not hot enough. Sorry, but basically, like, he also wasn't then connected to the Jedi Temple. So, like, even like if I just season 1 and I think that's where he was still a mystery to be solved, right? But in season 2, they had to come in and just jam all the shit back into it to basically try to connect them back to the Clone Wars, back to Attack of the Clones, back to the prequels. If they would have left him a mystery, right? Why can't something just be good at the Force? Why can't?
Because it never works that way. Like, look at everything that they've given you movie-wise, right? Like, anybody that's been Force sensitive has been a part of the Jedi Order, and somehow.
I don't know about that.
So I'm talking about in the movies. I'm talking movies. I didn't talk about. I'm not talking about like cartoons or any.
What was the guy's name with the staff and what's his name?
One?
Donnie Yen. Yeah,
the blind fella.
Yeah,
we don't know.
Wasn't he like all about the Force and everything else? But he wasn't a Jedi.
Yeah, but he never really used. He wasn't.
He wasn't Force sensitive.
I think that they kept that ambiguous. I think they kept it where it's like you don't know, and that's what I think that was his appeal. Is that like he probably had some sort of Jedi. I mean, again, it depends on how you look at a Jedi. Is Jedi midichlorians or is Jedi a spiritual thing? I mean, how do you interpret a Jedi? I don't know.
It doesn't have to be like, and that's the thing. That's another thing too. It's like the Jedi went to go look for kids who are Force sensitive, right? So it's like they couldn't simply miss somebody. It's almost like I kind of see the Force, kind of, yes. So I actually kind of equate Force to like mutant powers. Right?
I see that.
Yeah.
And I was like, okay, there could have been and that's where people get hung up on the Jedi thing. It's just because that you have Force abilities doesn't mean you're Jedi or Sith. That is a religion that's going to take you and train you in their ways. The Force, as we learned, and this is one also favorite things about Last Jedi, when Luke's saying like, do you feel the Force around you? The light, the dark, all that exists without these two religious fighting over.
I hear you. I like that.
And I was like, and that to me is like Grogu. It's like he can exist without being trained as a Jedi. And that's why I wanted to see. Sorry, when Mando and Cara Dune were arm wrestling in season 1, right? And Grogu is seeing Cara win, and it looks like he's threatening Mando. He force chokes her out of instinct because he's seeing somebody hurt somebody that he loves. I wish they would have kept it more of like the idea of like, what if you do have this super powerful Force sensitive child that doesn't know light and dark, but he uses it as an instinct. Like, I need to protect myself. I'm going to go choke this person. Like, that's where I think the theme and the story should have went with season 2, because that to me was more interesting and to develop on. First, was trying to get everybody back in.
I like what you said about that whole thing, and here's my prediction of season 3: is the conclusion of the story is ultimately Din Djarin, who's a Mandalorian, and then Grogu, who's a Jedi, are both going to reject their cultures or religions and come together because their relationship, their love for each other is stronger than both the Jedi and the Mandalorian, and that's my thought. And I think that's what the story is.
That's a great point, Randy.
I'd be totally fine. That would be a good way to do the show. I just feel like they, as far as like painting themselves in a corner with Luke, it's like, how do you continue showing Grogu without showing Luke? You know, and now Luke becomes a side dish versus a seasoning.
But that could last. That could be very brief. It could be very, very brief.
Right. I mean, I'm interested to see how they, you know, do they do a time jump? Do they do, you know, like, do they do like a back and forth? Like, do they do one episode of Grogu fucking around with lightsabers and then one episode of Mando, you know, looking for the armorer? And that was something that really disappointed me about that season, because I thought she was probably one of the best characters on the show, and she didn't even make a single episode.
Yeah, they're all underground. They're hiding out because they've been discovered again, and that was the whole point of them saying, "Hey, you got us out of hiding. You got us into some trouble, but you know this is the way. Go do your job, and we'll handle it."
And I do think I agree with what, if they start milking this Luke thing and Luke becomes a big part of this, I would also feel the way you do. I would think it would be too much. I think if they leave it here, maybe a little bit more, then I think
a little seasoning,
it'd be a great use of Luke. But I agree. If we see half the show with Luke and Grogu, I think I would not be interested in that. But I do, you know, I like to have my Luke, and that was a great moment.
No, and I'll like I come off super aggressive and super fucking angry all the time. It's just how I am. So, but I'm glad, like Kalum said, like with the Ashoka stuff, you got your Luke moment. You got to see him be a fucking badass, and like that's great, you know. And like I don't hold that against anyone. You like it, you win. It just, in my mind, it's like I would have liked to seen it gone a different way. But I appear to be in the 100% minority. Like,
well, I guess it all depends on what the final result is before we can really truly reflect on the story and decide whether they made the right decision or not.
Are we all gonna nerd hug now? Because I think we've all.
Well, isn't that what a nerd is? Like someone who's really passionate about this stuff. Like I have no hate for anyone's opinion. I want to hear your opinion.
Yeah, we're nerds. We have to argue, and we have to like bitch and complain to each other and be like, "No, you're wrong, and you're wrong." But at the end of the day, and I said this before, it's, you know, I'm glad people got their moments, right? Because even I'm sitting here bitching about Ahsoka and all these, you know, the cameos, and I got Boba Fett back. Because that was my
and you got Boba Fett to be a bat. I always hated Boba Fett. I always thought he was a punk.
He was a punk big time.
He had a bit of a kicking too.
Yeah, but Tamora Morrison's also like 50-something years old, and like, you know what, like. Let's not fucking live up, you know, like ladies have this standard. Like when men get older, we lose fucking muscle mass. I don't care how much you work out unless you're injecting fucking donkey hormones into your fucking neck.
You know, like Boba's likely been in the stomach of a Sarlacc pit eating Sarlacc. So I mean, he probably been training.
Well, I'll tell you one more Halloween costume.
I just thought it was funny.
Great.
Yeah, no, I'll tell you what. I've always hated Boba Fett. I never understood the love for him. He looks cool, whatever. But like that episode, I was like, okay, I want a Boba Fett hot toy that with the fucking, you know, scarred up head, maybe, you know, like
get one, sure.
Yeah, and I mean, I love Tamora Morrison too. He does such a great
the beer belly edition though. Is that the question?
Yeah, fuck yeah. I already ordered the Fat Boy Mando. Fucking, you know, I like him big and thick.
Yeah. Well, you said you had a question. What's up, man?
No, so EE Prime brought this up in a chat I'm in. Going back to the Darksaber real quick. Apparently, we learned in the last episode that you pretty much have to fight for it. You can't just give it to someone.
Which isn't totally true.
But yeah, I'm getting to that. According to something, because I haven't seen Clone Wars and Rebels all the way through yet. Like apparently, that Bo-Katan actually was given the saber from Sabine.
By Sabine, yeah.
Do we have an explanation for this? Is this just crappy writing?
Filoni, that's what it is.
Filoni Baloney.
Mhm.
Yeah.
That's trademark, by the way. That's a Kickboard original. Thank you very much.
So here's my theory on it, and take my theory with a grain of salt, because again, I'm not the biggest Star Wars fan. But me and Matt B were talking about this the other night at Randy's store, is that the fact that it was done in front of an enemy is probably the reason why she can't take the honor from that sword, because he's never gonna allow her to live that down. He's always going to be attacking her and calling her leadership into question. However, when a Mandalorian, the fight, took place and she got the sword and she gave it to the rightful leader, that was a little bit of a difference to me. And that's just the way I understand it. But that's just my theory. Don't take
I mean, that could be, because I've never seen that episode either, but people have brought that up. So I don't know if it's in front of an enemy, or if it was like just like a hey, like on the sly, like we're in the back room, here you go, whatever.
No, she did it in front of the whole clan.
So I just watched those episodes this week because I had to go back and just double, because I've seen them.
Yeah.
Rebels is a hard watch for me, but I did.
Especially the first season.
It's like every episode ends, it's like, well, that was a sticky situation, and they punch each other in the arm. I'm like, fuck me, man, come on. Anyway, so like the Sabine stuff, like she does win it in combat, but she then just passes it to Bo-Katan, because the whole thing that they set up, the lineage that they set up in Clone Wars, was she was Satine's Cracker's sister. And that she was like the rightful heir. And one of the biggest grievances that I have with what Filoni did to the Mandalorians, he basically turned them into houses and royalty. And again, most people probably don't know this, but he basically turned them into what Alderaan was before it was.
Right, exactly.
And that's where I was just like, dude, these guys used to be space Vikings. They used to pick fights with the Jedi simply to try to get better at fighting. Like that was the whole stories about them, right? And then when they did that in the Clone Wars, they kind of got some of that, but they turned it into something completely different. And that's where this Darksaber thing got introduced. And it was them trying to, again, shoehorn stuff to try to get back to the Jedi. The one thing about the reason where they got to fight for it, I don't agree with the Darksaber in general. The one saving grace from it is they are trying to reintroduce the whole trial by combat thing. And it's more of a Viking thing where if you want this, you got to kill the person that takes it. And that is a retcon from what happened in Rebels. And that's like some people, there's a group of people out there that don't remember like how bad Star Wars was in the early 2000s, because you would be reading the Dark Horse comics and then they would rewrite that shit in the Clone Wars show. And there was massive confusion back in the day. Like, you want to talk about canon issues and lore issues? Like, God, Lucas was the king.
The canon was all jacked up.
But anyway,
the EU was the king of that shit, where it was like you'd have one book where Boba Fett could barely walk and he was like, on all these pain drugs, and then you'd have another EU book where Boba Fett's like, I've been just hustling out here like a pimp. There was no kind of gatekeeping to any of that shit. And Star Wars still needs some of that, where somebody who has the power and the ability to say, okay, you read this book, or you read this comic, and you can say, well, this doesn't make sense because of what this person wrote. And they need to be able to, that person needs to have the sway to pump the brakes if it's a bit, because that's what happened with the EU, in my opinion. It was the Wild West, and people are like, I'm gonna write whatever I want. Nobody kind of gate kept it, and you wind up with the EU.
Tying this all back though, with the shows that we're getting, I mean, I can bitch and moan and complain about everything because that's in my nature. Ask my wife. Yeah, I'm a nerd. But I mean, we're getting 8-9 shows. Like, when has that ever happened? And I'm actually I'm enjoying the show format better in Star Wars than I ever have with the movies, because you get those moments. Matt, you weren't a fan of episode 1 and 2, but I liked it because it was showing me different angles of the galaxy that I hadn't seen before, right? So like, we can bitch and fight and moan and all that stuff, but at the end of the day, everybody's getting something. They're invested in this, and I'm hoping everybody gets a little something to make them happy. So
man. Yep. Well, I think that's a good spot to go ahead and wrap it up, man. This is a great discussion. Probably
it's been a
better than
pleasure.
what we initially thought it would be, right? So
Yeah,
this is a
yeah.
pretty good one, man.
What I
So,
was looking for.
yeah,
Damn
man.
Star Wars nerds. Ugh.
So let's go
Yeah.
around StreamYard, man. Get some shout outs and where you at, and we'll call it a wrap, man. Let's start with you, Kalum.
Obviously, my name's Kalum. Easy to find because I have a weird name. So, the Facebook groups, all that good stuff. I'll be around.
Yeah, man.
I kind of
Good
want that hat, Caleb. I might come to Carolina and fucking California fucking hug you for it. My plow truck.
Hey, you gotta fight them for it, man. It's like the Darth Saber.
It's the dark hat, and you're gonna have to like mud wrestle me for it. I don't make the rules, man. I just wear the hat. Okay.
I'll put on the song.
Recording
I ain't
that
scared.
live.
See my OnlyFans for that.
Good stuff, man. Good stuff.
But thanks
Matt,
for having me, guys.
Yeah, thanks for being here, man. Thanks for being here, Matt. What you got?
I'm Matt Hurd. You can find me on Facebook if you want or not. I'm on a podcast, One Too Many Podcasts. We don't talk about nerd shit, but that's usual me, angry, fucking whatever. I'm also on Shelf Gravy, where I do some painting, some bedroom modeling, things of that nature. Again, thanks, guys. It's always a pleasure to be on. And I had a great time.
Thank
And
you again, man.
I might not agree with people and whatever, and I get loud and I get whatever, but it's all about love. And
All love, man. All love.
like if you get something that you enjoy, I might scratch my head and be like, how the fuck? Like, I don't understand people who like olives. I just fucking don't. Like, there's
man,
something
we are
wrong.
no longer friends, man. God dog it, that did it.
But
On your side, Matt.
it's all good, and I enjoy these types of conversations.
Yeah,
So
man.
that's me.
Man.
Thank
Good
you again
stuff.
for coming on.
Yeah, man.
Absolutely.
Randy.
You could find me if you're in the Metro Detroit area. I got a little action figure and toy store shop called Nerdout in Oak Park, Michigan. You can come visit me there, or you can find me on social media at Nerdout Toys. And I don't think anyone is wrong or right. I think it's just fun to be passionate about something, and I respect a fun, passionate conversation, and
Absolutely.
it's intense, and that's what it's about.
Yeah.
Yeah, good stuff.
Yeah,
Good
thanks for
stuff.
coming on.
Thank you for having me.
Yeah, man. Jose.
Yo, what's up, guys? HarikenBX on Facebook, Twitter, Instagram. On Monday and Tuesday nights on the Realm of Collectors YouTube channel, Unto the Realm and Breaking the Mold. And check out Verbally Challenged on all audio platforms. New episodes will be coming soon, guys. Thanks for having me. This was awesome combo tonight, guys.
Thanks for coming on, man.
Yeah,
No
man.
doubt.
You got to do one of these on Verbally Challenged, man. I know this can be a banger for
Oh,
that.
yeah. Yes, sir.
Yeah.
Yeah, man. Cool.
Have us all back on there just going after it.
Thanks,
Wolf.
guys.
No doubt. Wolf, where you at, man?
Special guest, thank you so much. That was everything I could have hoped for. I really appreciate you guys coming on. That was an excellent conversation.
Yeah, man.
You can find me on vacation, in bed, not answering my phone, sleeping in, ignoring my family. You can also find me, Eric Von Wolfenstein, on all your social media platforms. And that's all I got.
Well, you
man.
forgot to tell them about your OnlyFans. What was it? Channing Tatum, what? So,
I heart Channing Tatum. That's what it's called.
yeah, I heard
You
you.
get to like packaged chocolate and hard. Wasn't that from earlier tonight?
Yeah.
Oh, I'm sorry. My bad.
Oh, man.
Good stuff. Lowery, what about you?
Hey, you can find me, Jason Lowery, on social media, Facebook, Instagram, all that. You can find me here with you guys every Thursday. And thank you guys for popping on the show. It means a lot. We kind of did this kind of last minute. So it's definitely been fun. It's been a while since I laughed that hard. Yeah, definitely. And you will not find me coming down people's chimneys next week, by the way. You can find my wife and all of her friends at the Total Package Podcast. I think they're taking a break during the holidays, so they'll be back at the first of the year. So check them out Thursday evenings. And also check out Jose and all them over at Realm of Collectors, Enter the Realm and all that on the Realm of Collectors YouTube channel.
Yeah, man.
So that's it from me.
Yo, you can find me, your boy Eric B, in your Facebook groups, Eric and Siobhan Burgess. You can also find me on Instagram where I do my toy photography, Mr_Edub82. You can find my wife, myself, our board as a part of Kennedy's Village, right? Can I get it in there? No, there it is. Yeah, right there. All right.
Nailed it.
Yeah, man. Where we are doing our best to bridge the gap between sickle cell research and care. It's been an up and down year, but we still help make an impact inside of the community. Just giving out laptops for those in need in the sickle cell community, trying to go to school. Being that everybody's kind of stuck at home, schooling from home. We also did our toy drive, which was a success this year. Barely made our goal, but we did it. So thank you guys for that. Also, just want to give a special shout out to our special guests here tonight. Thank you guys for joining us. You guys deserve a round of applause. That was a great discussion. Very intense. That's what we like to see, but it was respectful. So we enjoyed that. Give a shout out to our friends over at the Realm of Collectors. Check out their YouTube channel. Also, if you are a nerd and you follow our show, you got to get in them Facebook groups and also check out the Realm of Collectors. Most of us met from there, and this is what came of it, man. So just want to give them a shout out. Check out our boy Bobby Skullface. He does reviews and also podcasts as well on his channel. And also our mentors have rebranded. So they're the Nerd Life Syndicate, also on the Realm of Collectors YouTube station. So yeah, man, I think with that, guys, the nerds have spoken and we are out of here. Peace.
All right, catch you guys next week.
Thank you.